Hello my YouTube friends, Owen Dare back with another video. This video is going to be about basically explaining the fact that I'm using a pen name, and then I'm going to tell the reasons why I'm using a pen name. There's tons of videos out there about why you should or shouldn't use a pen name. This video is just going to be about why I decided to use a pen name. This was I think it's kind of an understated reason, and a lot of the other videos on, the other 4,000 videos on why you should use a pen name or shouldn't, they don't really cover this reason. And I think it's probably one of the most important reasons, especially now, in 2019 and going forward. My real name is Tim Myers. It's a very, very, very common name. If you Google Tim Myers, you will not find me anywhere. You could go 30, 40 pages deep in Google, you will not find me. There's a professional musician named Tim Myers. There's several actors named Tim Myers. There's several authors named Tim Myers. There is a very prolific college professor named Tim Myers. He publishes a paper a week. So if you go on YouTube or Google and you Google Tim Myers, you'll never find me. And so that's the reason. That's why I decided to use a pen name. I don't care if people know what my real name is. I'm not doing it to try to hide my identity or anything like that. It's just strictly that if in the future I publish a book and somebody wants to go and try to find my book, I don't want them to have to type in Tim Myers and then wade through thousands and thousands and thousands of pages of just other people. So I picked the name Owen Dare because a few reasons. Number one, OwenDare.com was available. So I kind of knew that I wanted to have a name that was the same number of letters, right? So I wanted either a 5-letter first name and a 5-letter last name, or 6 and 6. I didn't think I would actually find a 4 and 4. So I came up with the last name Dare because one of my favorite things to do is there's a video game jam called Ludum Dare. And in Ludum Dare is basically, it's kind of like NaNoWriMo, but for video games. I think they only do it once a year. They used to do it twice a year, I think, but now it's just once a year. But basically, you gather up your friends. I think you can have a team of up to 4 people. I've always just done it by myself. But you gather up your friends, and basically you have a weekend to completely finish a video game. Now, to make it so that people can't just go ahead and do this ahead of time, what they do is they start out where everybody can suggest a topic for the video game, and then they list all of those, and you get to go through and you get to pick your favorites, and then they whittle the list down to maybe, let's say, 25, and then people vote on those, and then they whittle it down again, and then they get down to however many topics, and you don't know the topic until Ludum Dare actually starts. So basically, if you've created a game that you plan on using and the theme doesn't match, and a lot of times what they do is they'll kind of mash up themes. Like the last Ludum Dare that I did was the themes were music and I think platformer or something like that. So you had to have a platform game like Mario Brothers that had a music element to it. So but anyways, it's really fun, and it's a really good way to learn how to because basically you're spending 72 hours not sleeping very much, and you're just coding, working on this video game. So anyways, so I came up with that name. I thought, okay, so D-A-R-E, I'm going to pronounce it Dare instead of Dare because I don't want to be too pretentious. So then I basically just looked for a list of men's names that have 4 letters. And I found a list with probably 150 of them on there. And I went down the list and I found about 6 of them where the domain name was available. So, you know, somethingdare.com, something else dare.com. And I think I don't remember what the other one was, but I got it down to 2 that I really liked, which was Owen Dare and then another one. And when you Google Owen Dare, not a lot of stuff comes up. So you know, there's stuff that comes up for someone named Owen. It says, you know, Owen something dares somebody to do this. There's a couple of actual people named Owen Dare, but they're not, doesn't seem like they're doing anything really, you know, where they're going to be, I'm going to have to be fighting with them for search history on Google. So, and then the really cool thing is that I released my first YouTube video, I think 2 or 3 days ago. And if you type in Owen Dare into Google, now one of my YouTube videos is already on the first page. I think it's like the 4th or 5th link down. So I'm already ranking on page 1 in Google for this name. So now if I start publishing books and short stories and, you know, start doing Medium posts and keep doing YouTube videos, I should be able to completely command the entire first page of Google so that if anybody Googles my name, they'll find me. So that literally is the reason why, like I said, I on my last video, I linked to a Twitter comment that is my actual Twitter account with my actual name. And so I figured I'd release this video so that people will know like why, like, oh, this guy named Owen, I clicked on a link and it took me to a Twitter page with a picture that looks like him, but it's got a different name. So I just kind of wanted to put this video out really quick, just to quickly explain why. And I mean, that's it. It's just having a very, very common name, and I didn't want to have people, you know, there is another author out there named Tim Myers, so I didn't want to have it where I was competing with the other Tim Myers, and I didn't want somebody to say like, you know, oh, I read some of Tim Myers' books 20 years ago and they were garbage. I'm not saying that his books are garbage. I don't even know if he writes fiction. I think a lot of his stuff was nonfiction, but you know, I don't want people to say like, oh, I know that Tim Myers author guy, and I didn't like his book, so I'm not going to read any of this new stuff that he's putting out. So that's it. I am a software developer, so I know a lot about SEO and I know about websites and stuff like that. So in one night, I built a website for owendare.com. I built a Facebook page. I built a Twitter account. A lot of the Owen Dare accounts were taken, but I got author Owen Dare. So like my Twitter is author Owen Dare, my Facebook is author Owen Dare. I think my Medium is also author Owen Dare. And then obviously the website I have, so I have my email address locked down. And so yeah, I created all that in one night. Started posting content. A lot of what I'm doing is just doing the YouTube videos and then posting those on Twitter and on Facebook. Now, if you're looking to do the same thing, if you're you know, starting to learn, you're starting to write and you maybe want to use a pen name, or even if you want to use your real name, you know, maybe your real name is very unique or something. Part of the reason why I'm posting to Facebook and Twitter is not because I think I'm going to get a ton of people coming to my channel from Facebook and Twitter. It's because you want to have your content on the large platforms. So every time I post one of my YouTube videos on Facebook and on Twitter, I mean, the biggest websites in the world are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, right? So if you have your content on all 4 of those websites, that actually will help you rank. So let me just real quick. So here's Google. I'm gonna type in Owen Dare. Oops. So you can see that there's one of my videos right there. There's only 12 million results which I know what you think, it sounds like a lot, but it's because it's matching both words. So dare is obviously a very common word. If you put quote marks around Owen Dare, it should only search for that exact phrase. So you can see there's 9,000 or 6,980 results. And so, I mean, my goal is basically to rank so that, you know, this Owen Dare person right here, it says track and field. So they're obviously some kind of athlete, runner. There's a joint consultancy. So maybe a consultants of some kind. And then there's an Owen Dare Twitter account. But I mean, you know, if I search for just Owen Dare without the quotes, there's my video right here. So I've already made it on the first page of Google. So that's pretty neat. Yep. And then if I go to page 2, there's my actual YouTube video. So yeah, that's basically why I decided to do that. I just didn't want to have to compete with the other. I mean, to give you an idea, the town that I grew up in was a very small town. Well, it was a smallish town, and there was like 6 or 7 Timothy Myers in that town. So it's very, very, very common name. When I went to get my first bank account when I turned 18, the banker that was opening my account, they basically said that there's 150 Timothy Myers in the Seattle area. So when I opened the account, I had to go through this whole process of, you know, I had to bring in my social security card, and I had to show them my ID and do all this other stuff. Stuff that most people wouldn't have to normally do, but they wanted to make sure that they got the right, you know, Timothy Myers. So anyways, if you're looking to use a pen name, you know, I highly suggest it, if anything, just to keep everything, you know, kind of separate. There's a lot of other videos out there you can watch with the more common reasons, but I didn't find a lot of people talking about the fact that you just have a very common name. I mean, the other videos that I watched, they kind of mentioned it. They were just like, you know, some of the reasons, the 10th reason you might want to change, you know, use a pen name is because you have a very common name, and then they moved on and they said nothing else about it, but I wanted to give a kind of a detailed explanation. So anyways, thanks for watching and have a good day.